Welcome back to the Jack and Glenn channel. I'm Jackie.
I'm her husband, Glenn.
He's my husband, Glenn.
Hey, before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that bell notification. Make sure you check out our Audible link in the description. If you enjoy listening to books as much as I do, check out Audible and get a free 30-day trial. Now to today's review.
All right, so we are out of quarantine. No more stay-at-home orders.
No more stay-at-home orders.
I mean, not for us.
Not for us. Yeah, not for us. Anyway, out of quarantine.
I mean, us too, but.
Yeah.
But for the couples.
The couples.
And it's retreat time.
The four couples.
Yeah, the four couples.
Yeah, the four couples.
Yeah, so as they're preparing to go on the retreat, we see Amani. You know, Amani and Woody have been like the couples counselors, the friend among friends, like to everybody.
Yeah, sometimes they stir the pot.
A little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit. But we see Amani going to see Olivia.
And she brings some margarita.
Yeah, she brings some margarita in the
milk jug.
In the milk jug. In the gallon milk jug. I ain't mad at her.
I ain't mad at her, but you know.
She said that's what she had to do in quarantine. She had to put in the milk jug.
The milk jug, make some hooch. Anyway, but nah, you know, as when this part came, I thought it was interesting that they showed her actually move out without Brett. I thought it was, you know, to me, pretty neat because you get to see that side. We didn't see that with Mindy and Zach kind of last year. But you saw Amani, who has become a friend to Olivia since day one. She has been a friend since Olivia to day one, so she's been helping Olivia out. And I think Olivia needed that sounding board. She needed that ear. She needed someone to listen to and to help her move.
Well, I did that because I'm like, okay, they didn't really show Zach and Mindy because Mindy was in it for the long haul. Like, she was going to stay in the apartment until...
Oh yeah, she was.
That's the difference. Like, Olivia was like, to heck with this. Let me go on to my place.
Yeah, I mean, plus her place probably was closer. With Mindy, you know, Zach already stayed in this house, so he didn't have nothing to move out anyway. He never moved in, and so she was still there. But I just think Olivia really needed to go back to her spot to get some kind of closure to their relationship, some kind of peace, some normalcy. To still be in the same place that the person who dumped you in and still be there. And when it's not really your place in the first place.
Right.
It's uncomfortable. To me, I think her is uncomfortable. Especially you might see the other couples moving around, hear them. We don't know how their living situation is. And you're sitting there thinking like, dang, I'm by myself.
Right.
My marriage is over. And this dude, and we come to find out that Brett.
Just as bad.
Just as bad. Brett would text her every now and then.
Yeah, she said he sends me random texts.
Yeah, like random text messages. You know.
Like, why don't we go out? Let's hang out.
Well, I'm not mad if you marry somebody or you date somebody else.
Oh yeah. You can go ahead and date somebody else. Like, he gave her permission to date somebody else. I laughed. I wrote, ha!
It's like he's bouncing between. He doesn't know which way to feel. It's like, what should I do? Which way should I go? Should I stay in this? Should I go out of this? And I just think once you said you didn't want to be married to her anymore, I think she's done. To me, I think that she's emotionally done. I don't see her taking him back. I can't see that. I mean, I don't know about anybody else. I don't think she would take him back.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. It wasn't the worst dump in the world.
It wasn't.
I mean, it wasn't the worst dump in the world. So.
But he put on the marriage.
Yeah, but I mean, it wasn't the. I can see maybe she might be like, you know, maybe it wasn't like you said. It wasn't like Zach and Mindy. It wasn't like that at all. It wasn't like Kate and Luke. No. It wasn't like that at all. So, I don't know. If he wasn't so asinine, she might want to talk to him at least, you know. And I don't know. But anyway, so speaking of asinine, so she says, you know, he took everything, but these Scotch glasses I bought him, he left them. He said he already has glasses. Amani's like, really?
You could take some extra.
You could take some extra as a gift. Take the gift.
You could tell Amani was done with him.
Oh yeah.
She was done, and you know Amani brought up a good question. I mean, I'm glad we haven't had to figure that out. When you get married and y'all split, who keeps the wedding gifts?
I think you should give them back. I mean, the money, that's a done deal. I mean, it's in somebody's bank account.
Money's a done deal.
Yeah, but I feel like the gifts, you should be like, you know what? My bad. Like, you know, you and I went to a wedding and we gave somebody it was a monetary gift though, and they were married for like 14 days.
They were married 14 days. That's no joke.
For real, I feel like you haven't deposited my check yet.
That's legit. We went to a wedding and the couple was married 14 days.
No, matter of fact, somebody told me it wasn't even 2 whole weeks. It was like 13 days.
Yeah, 13 days. Yeah, 13 days.
So I don't know what they do.
I didn't ask for my money back though.
I mean, I figured that's done. And it wasn't like we gave him a wop. I mean, not WAP, you know. I mean, a lot of money.
It was decent amount.
I mean, it was, but I mean, I figured that was done.
I might just call him up now after my money. Anyway.
But yeah, but then Amani and Olivia talk about, okay, so do you want to take the vows with you? Want to take the wedding book? And she was like, yeah, no, I'm not going to take those meaningless vows. Like, for what?
I'll take the wedding book.
But I will take the wedding book.
I'll take the wedding book.
And, because I'm no, shoot, I would keep it too. I'd be like, well, I look good in pictures. Even if, you know, it's a butthole in the picture with me. I mean, I look good.
You look good anytime.
I'm talking about Olivia, but thanks.
You're welcome.
A mess. Next.
Let's talk to Amelia and Bennett.
Amelia and Bennett, okay.
Amelia and Bennett, you know, we go back to last week a little bit. Bennett got the big news. Amelia got the big news that she's moving to Richmond. And we come to find out that Amelia and Bennett has spent some time in Richmond prior to them going on to the couples retreat.
Yes.
And Bennett actually kind of likes it.
Mm-hmm.
He enjoys it. I reckon she came to Virginia and to spend some time with her family.
And I mean, to get her stuff straight for her residency.
Get her stuff straight for her residency.
Sure. But yeah, and so we see them. They talk about that and the as they prepare for the couples retreat. One little funny thing, you know, she says to Bennett, "Should we take the I think it was blue or purple?
Blue or purple?
Should we take the blue or the purple toothbrush? The blue or the purple toothbrush." And so Bennett says, "I'm feeling adventurous. Let's bring 2 toothbrushes."
Which leads me to believe or begin to think and to dissect that when they live together, they only use 1 toothbrush.
That is so nasty.
Yeah, that's nasty.
Well, I don't know. Maybe while they live in a house together, like that's why they got 2 toothbrushes. But on the trip, it's like, you know, we started off on a honeymoon using the same toothbrush. This is our thing. When we go on trips, we just use 1 toothbrush.
It's coronavirus, bacteria. I love you. Trust me.
And the only time we have ever used the same toothbrush is when somebody forgot theirs.
Yeah, but it's not a regular basis.
No, that's my point.
Why go downstairs and get one?
That's the only time we've ever used the same toothbrush.
Ever.
We ain't ever gonna make no habit of it. I mean, gosh, you know, you married and everything, and you swap spits and you have kids together. But I'm not
only time. That means 1 time,
right?
not a consistent basis.
Right.
Only
time.
Yeah.
We have.
Yeah.
Or not, we do.
No, they do.
Right. That was like just mind blowing me. I'm like, okay, you feeling frisky. Let's take 2 toothbrushes.
Ooh, takes out a lot of luggage. I don't know if it can fit in the car.
I don't understand. Put it in a Ziploc bag. Put it in your bag.
Put it in your bag. Let's rock.
But so yeah, Amelia and Bennett say they've been to Virginia to spend some time, and he says, you know, it's been good to kind of get back to normal, and going on this retreat is good for them to be around the other couples because it feels like a kind of a sense of normalcy.
I think you get used to being with the cameras and being around other couples. You figure they've been in quarantine, I believe they said 6 weeks or however long it was, and then to go to Virginia and the cameras don't follow you and you're on your own, and now you have to come back to a production team and come back to the other couples which you haven't seen in many weeks, and now you get back in the flow of things because you become friends with them. You can tell Bennett genuinely likes the other guys. He really likes the guys that he hung out with, and I can see them being friends after the show. He enjoys that company and that companionship. And we don't know what they do when they I won't say set, when they're not filming within the apartment. You know, so I can see that relationship. So I understand why he wants to be back with them and going into the woods.
Yeah, and he also when they're at the retreat, with all the couples, he says, we're all in uncharted territory.
Yeah.
Because at this point, the other couples on other seasons have decided if they're going to stay married. They're either into their lives together and getting close to a reunion or
they're working on getting a divorce, or you like Matt and you dodging everybody so you don't get any paperwork.
Right. And so, Christina kind of echoes that sentiment. Was like, it looks like history making. This ain't never happened. Because they are, almost 90 days past?
They're in there deep.
Yeah, they're in there deep. So, let's finish with Amelia and Bennett. So, at one point in the cabin together, Bennett tells Amelia... Oh, go ahead.
No, you good.
Oh, Bennett tells Amelia she was singing in her sleep.
Yeah.
And we see the return of the dun-dun-dun.
The nightgown.
The mustard nightgown.
The mustard nightgown.
The mustard nightgown. He says that while she was singing in her sleep and went to sleep, he took the time to work on learning how to do the worm.
How to do the worm, y'all. The worm. Now, if you have not watched the show yet, and you watched the review before you watch the show, just give me a laugh, a thumbs up when you see Bennett attempt to do the worm.
Oh, it was terrible.
I have a young kid who can do the worm. Bennett cannot do the worm. I'm sorry. It looked like he was doing a push-up but was choking and at the same time. It didn't look nice.
It was terrible.
It was terrible.
It was terrible. It was terrible. Like, he just doesn't look...
Amelia got a kick out of it.
He didn't have any flexibility.
No.
You got to be flexible to be able to do it. Like, he was so stiff. But yeah, she was like, oh wow.
Oh wow.
She's like looking like, but in true Amelia fashion, she's grinning. But it was horrible. It was horrendous.
Yeah.
But to continue with them, I don't know if we want to do this each one at a time.
We do it together. When Bennett's at the table, Miles asks a question. And this is not even a question Miles even asked. Miles wasn't even going there. He was just asking, how everybody's been doing, and Bennett just burst out, hey, me and Amelia had sex. It's like, dog, just out of the blue. Wasn't nobody asking, but, thanks for the information. And Miles looked like, dang, even Bennett, Miles even even Bennett and Amelia had sex? Like,
yes.
Dang.
Well, I mean, I don't think that was an even Amelia and Bennett. I mean,
but he was like,
they had enough.
Yeah, but he was still like, Amelia and Bennett had sex. I just haven't gotten that yet. But I was kind of shocked. Bennett just jumped out there. It was on his chest. It was on his chest.
He's like, I've been waiting to talk to y'all. Guess what happened to me? Guess what happened?
He had to let everybody know. We had sex. We did too.
Yeah, Bennett put it out there. But also with Amelia and Bennett, there's at one point in the episode where each couple, which we didn't see Amani and Woody do it. No. I'm assuming they did, but each couple had to write a letter to their 10-year-old self. And so Amelia writes a letter to her 10-year-old self, and she talks about, life and love, and you can't imagine what your wedding will be, about living your life, and, it's all rainbows and gumdrops, and, it was...
You'll meet this nice guy.
It fit, you'll meet this nice guy. It really fit like this is Married at First Sight. So, obviously, I want to talk to my 10-year-old self about life and love and marriage. And so, okay, Bennett, your turn.
And Bennett starts off real nice with, to his 9-year-old self. And then it takes a turn. And I didn't see this coming. I don't think anybody's seen this coming.
No.
Everybody's like, oh, this is sweet, man. Bennett's about to go deep. And it started off deep. And Bennett talks about a Pokemon card that he should have never opened, that he should have kept in a package, that was now worth $20,000, which is more money than he has ever made in his life.
Well, in a year.
In a year.
Sure.
In a year, for sure. And Amelia was like, that's nice, but I thought it was supposed to be more about
me. She was disappointed.
She was disappointed. The first time we saw her disappointed, but she wasn't upset. She was just disappointed. I think she just chalked it up to being Bennett.
Yeah, but she said, I thought it would be more about me, you know? It wasn't. It was about the Pokemon card. It was about the Pokemon card. But she was like,
Okay, Bennett.
Well, yeah, she didn't say nothing to him.
She didn't say anything. She didn't say anything to him, but he failed on that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he did. It sucked real bad.
He failed on that. We learned that Bennett cannot. He can't play basketball.
No.
We learned that Amelia played basketball when she was 12, but had no clue what basketball warm up was like whatsoever.
She said the biggest part about playing basketball seems to be the warm up, and then she proceeds to instruct Bennett on these awkward stretches and warm up and kicks, and it was just true Amelia and Bennett fashion.
But she did go Rick Barry on him and when they're playing horse and went grandma shot and hit the first basket. I think she won the game of horse. They didn't let it play out, but I think she won the game of horse and Bennett. But I like them. I told my wife, even watching their quirkiness, sometimes I think Bennett and Amelia, and I don't put it past him, being in theater and being a thespian, I don't put it past him that some of the quirkiness is for the camera. I think some of the things he does is to entertain us as the viewer. I don't think that's him on a regular basis.
I don't know. I feel like it is. They're just weird. Like, they're weird.
Yeah, but I still think they're playing us. She's smart. I think they're too smart. I think they're playing us a little bit for entertainment purposes.
No, I think they're so smart. They're special. Okay. And like this is really them. Like, this is them.
And I enjoy the fun.
She don't have no reason to play. For example, she don't have no reason to play for the cameras. Like, when you're documenting yourself during quarantine and stay-at-home orders, you got your own video cameras. You don't even know if they're going to use this video of you riding around the apartment on a unicycle. I feel like that's them.
Yeah, you got a point. But I do think some of it's for camera. But the nightgown's not. That's him. That's what he does.
It's so long.
It is long.
But at least he wore it as a nightgown this time, and he didn't tuck it in his pants as a shirt. Yeah. To go get a blender not in a box.
Yeah, and there's nothing underneath the nightgown.
Ew. Okay, next.
Let's go Miles and Karen. Let's hit Miles and Karen up.
Miles and Karen. Where do you want to start? Karen says that as they're packing, Miles is like, how you feeling about going on this retreat? And she was like, I'm kind of excited about going on a retreat, but at the same time, the timing could have been better. Yeah. Because there's so much going on in the world, in their mind. She said between the pandemic and social injustice and protesting and stuff, it's like I kind of just want to be by myself and just mull all this over. So she wasn't like feeling the retreat when it came to that. Yeah,
and she wasn't the only one. Miles wasn't feeling it either. We see Miles later on when he gives his speech to the, kind of, not necessarily a speech, not that he stand up, but sharing his feelings, his feelings about how it is being a black man in America, how he's feeling with all the tension that's going on. And Karen talks about how she feels now being married to a black man and having that weight on her shoulders as well, worrying about him, worrying about whether he goes out and he comes home and worry about him getting stopped by the police, and that's another worry that she didn't have to have. She didn't have prior to them getting married. She could just worry about herself. They show that they're emotional, and Miles, just as the emotional guy he is, shares how he feels and the trepidation that he has about what's going on in the country at the time. Mm-hmm. With the social injustice and everything.
And even though I don't always believe it, but it kind of touched, because Christina just is like an actress to me. She got kind of teary, like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. So I think she meant it, but at the same time, like, she's a self-professed over-dramatic person, so.
Yes, she is.
But in talking about that, I think Amelia seemed to really grasp what he was saying, like, yeah. Wow. Okay.
And I think that's another thing too that he had when he's saying it in a room of people who are not African Americans who may not understand the background, may not understand where he's coming from, and I think that was some of his hesitation for sharing that as well. Going on the trip because he knew how he was feeling, and I don't know if these people are going to receive what I may say, but Karen gave him kudos for being able to share it, and I think that did something for her.
Right.
To show the way he expressed himself and the way that he shared. I wouldn't expect it any other way. I don't know why she was kind of more surprised.
I
don't know why she was surprised about the way he did it, because that seemed like it's him.
Yeah. But Miles and Karen talk about the fact that quarantine was a little bit hard for him. Mm-hmm. She's still having a hard time opening up. She's she works and it's hard dealing with the COVID patients, and she feels like obviously she hasn't been in it 100%, but she couldn't open up.
And she said that on Unfiltered leading into it, that she had been so tired because of all the work that she's done with the COVID patients and stuff that she's doing, that she just was like exhausted. She didn't feel like giving that energy, I don't want to say to Miles, she didn't feel like giving it to herself. She just wanted to just chill. And so that was a kind of pull on the relationship as well.
Yeah. Then we see a little bit further on Karen and Miles playing the ladder golf.
Yeah, ladder golf.
And Karen is killing it.
Miles remind me of somebody I know. Somebody real close to me. Myself, because I hate to lose. But it's fun because he was competitive and he was trying, and she was really enjoying it, and she was winning. But he's not one of those sore losers where he's mad and fighting, but he just tried to do better. He was really genuinely having fun with her. And they was really having a good time, and she was excited to be out there with Miles. And I think you can see in this retreat how their relationship is starting to turn. Even with him being a gentleman, opening the car door for her, and she said, like, what, you trying to lock it? No, I'm trying to open it. But that's the things that he does. He's opening the car doors. And I don't see Miles ever stop opening the car door. I don't ever see Miles stop telling Karen that she looked nice, or all right, killer, giving her the pet name or whatever case may be. And you even see that when they play the game later on, how they really do know each other. How they really do have that relationship and that connection that's there. And I think Amani even notices that. Amani noticed it too, like that the quarantine helped Miles and Karen, because they had extra time to spend with each other without the cameras, without the production. Even Christina, who must be the expert of seeing everybody else's relationship, she was like, oh, that's so cute. I really do see why you guys are matched, she said.
It's something so special there.
Yeah, something so special that's there. She can see everybody else's relationship, but she can't see hers because she's in it. But I don't.
Well, I don't know. I was still kind of surprised at Miles and Karen being able to later on answer so many of the questions, to know each other so well. But I think they just know that from observing. I don't think it came so much from talking.
Oh, some of those questions Ben and them asked can't be from talking. It's just based off the person's personality, what you think they would do. Like, would you put bees in your mouth or put worms in your pants? I'm sure no one's ever had that conversation about, what? If we ever ask this question, I'm going to let my answer is I'm going to put bees in my pants. You know what I'm saying? But it's just based off the personality and what you see, how they kind of maneuver. Who do you think will be arrested first? I don't know. They were asking that question, so it wasn't. Right. We didn't get an answer from them. But I just think because they spent time, they do have conversation, they do communicate. They just don't have the intimacy that's there. So the communication is there without any intimacy.
Or the communication about certain things.
Yeah, communication about certain things. Just not that.
Yeah. So to continue with Miles and Karen, we get to see Miles have a conversation with his dude, with boy. my guy Woody, and they talk about, Miles talks about moving at Karen's pace. Obviously, it's a little bit slower than I would like, and he's questioning if it's going to get him to the point of like falling in love with her and it's being a sustainable relationship, and will there be some physicality? But
he said before he even started, he said he agreed to go at this pace.
Right.
So when you agree to go at this pace, you on for the long ride. He's in it to win it, or he's along the ride. He's on this ride together with her. So he agreed to this pace. Okay, now my thing with Miles, you agreed with it, and I'm not saying he's complaining, but dog, ride it out. Ride it out. Okay, you say you get some kissing, you get some affection, you just ain't getting no poking.
Well, but no, he said the thing about the affection that he gets is it's all him initiated. Like, she doesn't initiate anything. She has never given him a hug, a kiss, a love tap, without being prompted, and that's kind of wearing on them.
But it should wear on them. But at the same time, if you know that's who she is, because let's look at the Christina and Henry thing. We just want both of them are waiting for somebody to make a move. So if Miles with Henry and Miles made the move, and Henry made the move, Christina would give in. So long Miles keep making a move on Karen, it's kind of breaking their walls down. She's feeling more comfortable. Think about this, and I know she's married to him, but you gotta look at it as not them being married, but them being on a regular date or them being together. And I know they're married, and people want to rush them to have sex and all that, but they're basically essentially dating 3 months. She may not. This may not be her pace. She's only said she only had 2 boyfriends, you know, and so her pace is at a slower rate than his in order to get the intimacy that he wants. And now, is she moving real slow? That's not my pace, but that's her pace, and he's committed to her. So take the time with the pace.
Yeah, but his concern is, he says, I'm an affectionate person, and that's a problem for them. You know, he's not getting affection.
He wants her to be more affectionate, even though he's affectionate. Again, 2 different backgrounds, 2 different families, 2 different things. You don't know what she saw in life. We all know that she's been hurt, and I think her not giving him the affection is she doesn't want to put her heart out there. And I think by putting her heart out there, she may think, I put my heart out there in my past relationships, it may get broken again. And so what happens is she has to forget the past relationships and realize Miles ain't the other 2 dudes, but Miles is Miles. And this is what Miles need in order for this marriage to continue to grow. Whether, like he said, whether it's just putting her arm around his shoulders or touching his arms or whatever case may be. And if you watch this episode, it was a little bit more touchy-feely. He did have his arms around her. She didn't throw it off. She looked a little bit more comfortable. So you can see growth. It just may not be the way that we want it to be by the viewers, but it's on their pace. But Woody said...
Miles is in it.
Miles was in it.
Yeah, but Woody was like, bruh, I don't... He said him and Amani had to have... They needed to have sex.
They needed to have sex.
For them to connect. He was like, I don't know if I could do it. No matter of fact, I could not do it. Woody basically was like, yeah, no.
Yeah, we needed to
because Miles told him basically there's no timeline. They don't have any timeline for the intimacy. And Woody like, nah.
Woody was like, yeah, I need a time. At least give me a timeline. That was Woody's thing. I need a timeline. He said, if I don't have a timeline, then I don't know. But I'm glad Amani and Woody...
He wasting his time. He messing around and be in that relationship for 2 years again.
Yeah.
And not get no trim, no nothing.
I'm just a firm believer that by the time we get to the reunion, that Miles and Karen had sex. If they stay together. I don't know. If they stay together, by the reunion, Miles and Karen have had sex. I think she's big with the cameras and the TV, and that's one of the issues with her. I think if they stay together on decision day, they say yes, by the time we get to the reunion, Miles and Karen have had sex.
I don't have hope. I don't have that much hope. But anyway, so since we mentioned Woody anyway, let's talk about Amani and Woody.
Amani and Woody. We mentioned Amani already, how she helped Olivia out, being a good friend. I really do like these two because Amani helps Olivia, and we see we see Woody talking to Henry. And Woody and Henry hook up, and Henry's basically telling Woody about the things with Christina, how Christina implied that he was gay, how Christina has not been home in a while. And Woody was like, dog, we getting ready to go on this retreat. How you going to do this?
Right. He was like, I don't know how that's going to work.
I don't know how that's going to work.
And Henry basically was like, I fully expect her to put on an act.
Yeah.
I fully expect her to put on an act like everything's all good. Because that's what she does. We see... See, you took me to Christina and Henry though. Anyway.
But Woody, as what's funny is Henry was telling Woody just all he could do was sip on his wine. He like, dog,
he had to pour himself some more.
He like, it couldn't be me, dog. It couldn't be me. And you could just tell Woody was like, oh dang, that's what's going on with y'all. Like, dog, I don't have none of that. Not in my relationship. But I'm glad Woody was there to talk to Henry. I think Henry likes Woody and they have a good relationship. I don't think this is just production putting them together.
Right.
I think this is Woody genuinely caring and having concern about Henry and having that conversation with Henry. And I think it helped Henry out. Henry know who Christina is and he understands, look, I'm here just for the next couple of weeks. I do want to try it out. I do want to try to work, but she's not playing the game.
Right.
She's not in it.
Yeah, and like we mentioned before, I don't know if you, whether you watch Unfiltered or not, that's one thing Henry said. He was like, I want to stick it out to the end and say I put my best foot forward and at least I tried.
At least I tried.
So that's what he's doing. But yeah, so Amani and Woody, Amani tells all the couples when they get to the retreat, she tells them about Olivia and Brett. Speaking of not sticking it out. And you know, Christina talks about the fact that I saw a bunch of red flags and you know, he's such an a-hole, and I feel so bad that she had to go through that. And Amani's like, I mean, you know, he sucked.
But again, she sees it in their relationship, but doesn't see the red flags. And Woody's sitting there looking like, dog, it's you. You're talking about you. I know you're talking about you, but you see everybody else stuff, but you don't see yours.
Yeah.
And she talked this bad about Brett. I guarantee if her and Brett was matched, she would have liked Brett.
Probably.
Because he would initiate. He's that guy that she liked. He would have initiated the things that she wanted to be initiated.
Yeah.
And
but I mean, she probably would have liked. She probably could have dealt with his personality a little bit better.
Yeah, she
than Olivia as well.
You know, but you know, Amani and Woody really, they are the grounding for the rest of the table, for the rest of the groups. They are that I don't want to say older married couple, but they're more advanced than the rest of the couples,
right?
Because of their communication and people trust them and they're able to talk to them. And if you look at, they are the middle couple for everybody. And you know, even when they have their little talk, you know, Woody just expresses himself. They're real with each other. And she said, and this is what Amani said that I like, I can overlook the little things.
Right.
And I think there's sometimes
focus on the big stuff.
Focus on the big stuff. Sometimes in relationships, people you gotta pick your battles. You can't always nitpick the little things. You know, there's a time where you just can't be criticizing folk. You can't be criticizing your spouse or your significant other all the time. There's a time that you have to give compliments and you have to be able to listen and not pick out everything that he or she does wrong.
Yeah. Amani made that point.
I mean, she made it, and when she was talking to Christina and she was talking to Amelia, and she just made a point. Like, this is what we want. We just look at the bigger picture. You know, and which was funny that Karen wasn't in that scene.
Yeah, but we also noticed that Woody wasn't in that scene
with the guys
talking. But like I said, the other couples had an opportunity to do the letter to your 10-year-old self. But we see Amani and Woody playing a game of dominoes.
Yeah, for a coupon.
She said, okay, if we playing the game, what's going to be the prize? And she said, I'm playing to get another coupon.
She ain't got nothing left?
But no, I guess she wants another one. Which, I mean, we already know from the other episode, she was like, I'm getting ready. Can I double these up? Can I double, triple these up?
I forgot, we did have quarantine time, so she probably used all of them during the quarantine.
She might have. But she was like, she wanted another coupon, another voucher. And so, what did Woody want? What did he say he wanted?
He just wanted to be with her. It was just like a kiss or something. It was something.
Yeah, it was something. And they just talk about that. They see how much hard work they've done.
Yeah.
How they've worked to get to where they are, and that things are going well. But in that, they talk about decision day, which is now, it would have been before. Now they started out 14 days. As we go through this retreat, they're getting down to 12 days before decision day. And so Woody asked her, what would it take for you to say no? And she says that it would have to be like a major shift in your character.
Major shift.
A major shift in your character, and I would have to like lose trust in you. Like, you would have to lose my trust for me to say no.
And he basically says the same thing about her. Which I like this. Again, production. I like that they show them actually talking about decision day. Most times you don't see the couples talk about decision day, but I guess they figured these two ain't gonna mess up. So let's show them talking about decision day. Because you know, if you're on this show, if I was on this show, there's no way that we go to decision day not knowing what the decision already is.
Right.
We already have that conversation. Okay, are you going to stay with me or you're not going to stay with me? I understand it's a TV show and I understand it's drama, but I would want to know prior to decision day, what is your decision? And you could tell.
Mm-hmm.
It is. That shouldn't be any two surprises.
Yeah.
We're not Will and Jasmine.
Right. And he basically just says that for him to say no, it would have to be her shutting down.
Yeah.
And going back to this, I don't know.
No.
Yeah. Is it good? Is it not? Is he gonna be the same? Is he not?
But that's a lot of her.
So,
that's a lot of her insecurities from her past relationships. That when they first took on the relationship, or first came together, that she had, because a lot of guys, she is the one that the dude got pregnant. Got somebody else pregnant during the relationship.
Mm-mm.
He was married.
That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah, he was
married.
Ex was married.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like I said, it's always smooth sailing with Amani and Woody. Like you said, I think they're the grounding for all the other couples. The sounding board.
The sounding board. They give advice.
Yeah, and they talk. We see them going to bed, and they talk about how Amani said she shared with the other people that, the one time that, like, he really made me mad was with the washing the clothes. Like, he just left his clothes on the floor.
Wow.
He didn't separate them, and I had to separate it, and she was hot. She was hot about that thing. But they got past it. And they snuggled up or whatever. She said, okay.
Just don't let it happen again.
Don't let it happen again.
Don't let it happen again.
And they do fairly well in the couple game that they played later, Spouse versus Stranger. Yeah. And Miles and Karen beat them out. Amani and Woody, like, I don't know how that happened. I think it's a farce, but we're going to give it to you.
We're going to give it to you.
Because they
Y'all
did
need to win.
good.
Y'all need to win.
Miles
Miles and Karen had 26 points. Woody and Amani had 21.
Yeah.
Bennett had 6. Bennett and Amelia had 6.
I was surprised by Amelia and Bennett.
No, weird questions.
But they made the questions up.
Again, weird questions. And Christina and Henry ended up, they started out fast, but they faltered towards the end.
Yeah, when they had 11.
11 points,
It was pretty bad. So, from Amani and Woody, we'll go to Christina and Henry. And just finish some more of that. And we kind of like touched on their stuff already. The conversation between Woody and Henry. And Christina sitting with the girls. They talk, and
she is so phony. She's a chameleon. I'm sorry. She's phony, and every time you see her, it's fake tears. And Amani's sitting there reading her BS like, "Girl, we know you lying." Like, which one is it? Even when Henry was talking, Bennett was like, "I don't understand what he said. I have no clue to what he's talking about." But I guess he just want to start over, and and just
both of their conversations like confused the other couples.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really know what they're talking about. Like, it just what are y'all talking about? What are y'all doing? What the heck?
Yeah.
What the heck? What if they learned out of the situation when all the couples are sitting there together? And Christina says, "I've learned the type of long-term relationship that I want."
Yeah, and she says she saw some things in Henry that she likes.
And it was some awkwardness for a while, but,
But she never mentioned that she be leaving, taking long Sunday afternoon walks.
No.
She never mentioned that she not home for the last couple of days and just showed up for the retreat.
So instead, she says she sees some hope.
Dog. And hoping, it's always a chance. It's always a chance, but she's not putting in the work. And that's the thing. When you leave a relationship and you go for days and you're not putting any work, how do you expect it to last? How do you expect to get over the hump? How do you expect those two? At least I can say with Beth and Jamie, they put in the work to try to get over the hump. Mm-hmm. You saw them try to, even though she would blow up, flip tables over, they tried to put in the work.
Yeah.
And even when Jamie would go to his apartment and come back, he tried to put in the work. Christina's not trying to put in any work. She's not trying. You watch Unfiltered again, Henry, she stays in the bed till like 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. She stays in the bed till 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and she takes long baths like for 4 or 5 hours.
He says she takes the longest baths known to man, that I've ever heard of. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah,
she should be a raisin by the time she gets out.
Right. So it's like, okay, what's going on here, and why is it that their relationship is not working? Because she's not putting in the work, he's not putting in the work, and they both haven't put the work in to get this relationship to a place where it needs to be.
Yeah, and even again while they're sitting there, with the couples, Amani asks Henry, what's going on? How you feeling about the relationship? And Henry kind of like he avoids the question. Oh, let me go get something out the kitchen.
Right.
And she like, no, you can ready to answer this. And he was like, well, let's see what she said.
Like whatever she says, that's what I'm gonna say.
Oh my gosh.
But it's again, he doesn't. He's hanging on to it just he has a glimmer of hope. She hanging on to it has a glimmer of hope, and we still got to deal with the fact that she called the man gay.
Well, yeah, she
and then text messages accused him. And
text messages that she still has yet to produce.
No receipts. You're talking about your husband here, not just some random dude. You accusing him, and she said it in her little interview that she did it because she was mad and she was upset, and she had to figure it has to be something wrong with him in order for him not to be attracted to me or make.
Because apparently this is something that she knew before.
Yeah.
And then this the time she decided to bring it up. But she also was saying I wasn't trying to be a butt by bringing it up.
Yeah, you was. You brought it up.
Yeah, pretty much.
You brought it up, and you wasn't even in the same vicinity. You brought it up, and you're like, oh, you didn't say, somebody sent me this. I heard this, or is it true? There's many ways that she could have did it without trying to be offensive. And so she did it to get back at him for the way that she felt, and that doesn't work in relationships. Tick for tat, being vindictive because he made me mad, now I'm gonna make her mad, or she made me mad, now I'm gonna make him mad. That doesn't work in relationships. It's too much time.
Yeah. We see them write the letter to their 10-year-old self, and Christina's letter, she's like, dear 10-year-old me, it's the 30-year-old you. You might be shocked and surprised that we made it to 30.
Yeah.
Because she was like, I've made some hard choices, dealt with some rough people, took the hard path, didn't think I'd make it out. I was like, oh my gosh, it's so glum.
It's like she's been through a lot. I mean, I'm not taking it for granted. It's like she's been through a lot. You can explain why she has some of the emotional issues she has.
Yeah.
Why she likes the physical touch from men. Why she likes the attraction, because anytime she says, by the time they would touch me or I would have been touched by now, she likes the physical contact. That's how she showed love. And if you don't give her that physical contact or don't embrace her or tap her, I'm not necessarily mean sex, she doesn't feel like she's loved. So she wants to have that kind of intimacy or that type of relationship with Henry or with a guy, and she's not getting it. And now and you can start to see why, because she has a lot of things that happened in her past that she need to deal with. Yeah,
I think we really got that from the letter that she wrote, because it was a I won't complain letter.
Yeah,
I've had some bad days. I've had some hills to climb. It's been rough, but you'll make it. You're gonna make it to 30.
You're gonna make it to 30, and you're gonna be fine. And she made it to 30, and I guess she's fine.
Yeah. Henry says to his 10-year-old self, almost a little bit like Bennett's, just not that extreme. He says, I know you thought by now we'd be having flying cars and this, but the future's not what you think it's going to be. It's not like that at all. But, try not to worry too much about this and that happens. Just, go with the flow type of thing.
And I mean, you can see that's his personality. He's just gone with the flow.
Yeah. And she had the nerve to say that his letter confused her.
Yeah, that's one of the times where they should play awkward music, like, because her letter confused him. Her letter confused me, and I'm pretty smart guy.
Well, for Henry, he was like, "Wow, this is telling." What she wrote was very telling, and it wasn't something that he didn't know, but it just.
Again, he's in a health profession for a reason. His friend said it. Henry likes to help people. I think is happening is not that he's staying in this so he can be a helper to Christina. He doesn't want to see her go down the wrong path, and he doesn't want to hurt anybody. So he's staying in it just so he doesn't have to hurt her.
And when the guys talk together, Henry says he's gotten more clarity in dealing with her. He brings up to them again the topic of the dishonesty, staying out all the time, not saying where you are. He's had to deal with that, and he just doesn't want any drama.
No.
He doesn't want any drama. He wants to enjoy the retreat and the rest of his time. He
wants to chill. And like I said, he want to relax, no drama, and let him have fun. And you can see even in the game when they first started off, they were like, okay, they work in a team. He was surprised, like, oh, we get these answers right. Like, whoa.
But my husband made a good point. We noticed it on Unfiltered, and a little bit when they were playing this game is, I mean, Henry's not as dry as he comes off. He does have some dry humor, but he's a funny guy. He makes little slick comments, you know.
When he's comfortable.
Yeah.
If he's not comfortable around her. He's on eggshells when he's around her, and that's not a good relationship when you have to be around eggshells on the person that you're with.
Yeah.
Not good at all.
Nah, so overall I think the retreat's going good for most of the couples.
Yeah. No major big issues came out of the retreat. No fights. Nobody went home like Brandon and Michael did. I mean, it went well. You saw some couples get a little bit closer.
Because Bennett sang Amelia a lullaby about a bee
with one wing.
With one wing, and she actually went to sleep. I think she was sleepy anyway.
Yeah.
But she went to sleep, and he was like, "Oh yeah, that's about par for the course." But we noticed the snake in the bed, and then what was it? Somebody tell me, what food was that? Was that baklava in the bed with
some kind
chicken wings,
some kind of cake or something? They had it
cornbread,
platter.
A big platter full of it too.
Sleeping on crumbs.
Speaking of which they made a point at the beginning when they came into the retreat that Amani and Karen came to slay in the kitchen. Yeah. They gonna make sure they ate.
Make sure everybody, and we all know Karen likes to cook. Anything from way miles. Like, yo, she got up in the middle of the night and cooked me some meatloaf, some mashed potatoes, whatever it was, and
heavy stuff for the middle.
Stuff for the middle of the night. And then Amani was like, man, Miles, you the best dishwasher we've ever seen. Like, hey, can't nobody wash dishes like you. But they slayed in the kitchen. I like how the cabins was set up. They had this own little kitchen area, and everybody had their own individual kind of cabin. I thought it was pretty neat there, and so I love the trip episodes. I think the trips are good because you can see where all the couples are at, and they're kind of honest. They are honest and break down, and they get to see where they're at and what they need to do. And it's being so close to decision day, it can either make or break a lot of these relationships. Yeah. And so, as of right now, just going into 2 episodes, right? We're not there yet. Who's your top? I guess 4, because we're gonna say 5. We already know who's at the bottom.
Right. Or maybe we shouldn't do the top 4. Let's not do the top. Yeah. But who do we say right now is going to stay together?
All right, who's gonna stay together?
No problem. Amani and Woody.
Hands down, I agree with that.
Absolutely. Amelia and Bennett.
Agree with that.
Absolutely. Miles and Karen.
I'm going to say yes, just for the simple fact that Miles doesn't want to be divorced like his parents. And I think Karen doesn't want to come off on TV looking like a butt. So I'm going to say they're going to stay together. Both of them going to say yes. And then I think, and I said it earlier, I think by the time we get to the reunion, they still together, they're closer, and they probably already had sex.
I don't know. I think she's going to keep putting them on hold. But, and then Christina and Henry.
No. There's no way in the world Christina and Henry stay together on decision day. Now, I think in her mind, I can see her saying yes and him saying no. But then again, I think both of them going to say no.
No, I think they would both say no.
Yeah.
I'm thinking they both say no.
And that's this week. As of this week, I think they both say no. Next week, we'll probably give a different opinion. But
well, depending. And obviously, Brett and Olivia have already said no. But they make a reappearance on the next episode.
We shall see. Hey, make sure you leave a comment in the comment section. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell notification. Also, check out the Audible link in the description. Did we miss anything?
I don't think so.
If we miss anything, you let us know that we missed anything. We know you will. Thank you, guys. Also, shout out to I believe it was Van Products that was on the last episode. Saw your comment. It was Van Products that Amani gave Woody.
Yes.
Not Amazon stuff.
Some of the items.
So check it out. But that's all we have for you tonight, or today, or whenever you're watching this.
We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.